Well, talking of opinions, we now have your question of the week. I wanted to put a question I know you're going to talk passionately about. So, how do you think the public perceives UK manufacturing, and what can we do to improve it?
Right, I think the public are not ignorant, but ignorant of what we can actually do in this country. And also by the public, I mean teachers, politicians as well. Since the 80s, we've become a nation of service providers, and even the term engineer has become undervalued and unappreciated because of the lack of understanding of what an engineer actually is. And the reason for that is there's too many trade organizations that call their employees engineers. So, what do you do for a living? Oh, I'm a burglar alarm engineer. Oh, what you mean you measure the sound waves and the electrification of things and you design it? No, I install burglar alarms on people's houses. So I fix washing machines. You may use engineering principles, but you are not an engineer. And when I was entering into my career, my grandparents, my grandfather was a toolmaker, and he used to go to work wearing a tie. And back in the day, people were as respected as your doctors and your solicitors and other professionals within industries. Whereas now, the term has become too diluted, and as companies have got bigger, they've all coming up with these fancy titles and fancy job titles. I mean, you could even take it to one degree. I've got a friend who's a vision technician. He cleans windows. So you can call yourself what you like. It doesn't matter. It's all about the results. And if government were literally to take it back and look at the facts and the figures and how much manufacturing as a nation contributes to our GDP, and the amount of jobs and career paths and opportunities that are out there within UK manufacturing, whether you're manufacturing handbags, jet aircraft parts, submarines, shoes, clothes, food, it doesn't matter. There are many career paths within manufacturing and engineering. You've only got to go to Walker's crisp plant. You've got BMW's engine plant, our facility, to see digitalization and fantastic gizmos in action that produce fantastic things.
So Leigh, I guess the question is, sorry to interrupt quickly. So the perception is not as good as it could be. I think
no, we need to do more.
But what can we do then? I guess the question is, how can we improve? Especially, I know I spoke to a few people on the engine room, and how can we get the general public, and particularly young people, more engaged and having a better perception of what UK manufacturing is and what it does for this country?
Education. Simple as that. We've all got to go back to the beginning. I'd like to see more STEM activities in primary schools and secondary schools. How many schools in everybody's local area still has a metal shop or a woodwork shop or a craft shop of any kind? There aren't many. There are a few, don't get me wrong, and some do have, but they tend to be in the more affluent areas of the nation. And the problem is teachers themselves, and the system is what is failing teachers at the moment, is that teachers are measured on performance, which means qualifications. So it's bums on seats to get their GCSEs and their A levels and the like. Well, everybody is not into academia. Not everybody wants to go on and do A levels. We need people like me that's slightly quirky, left-handed, slightly dyslexic, but not stupid. And it wasn't until we need these lessons to be taught in a way that people like me can see it and apply, touch and feel and understand. So when I was at school and teachers were teaching me trigonometry, it went in one ear and out the other because I couldn't apply it to anything mentally or as a vision in my brain. So it wasn't until I started an apprenticeship and a mentor said, yeah, we need to lock this pin in this position at 110 degrees and we can work it out by using a series of triangles called trigonometry. And it all applied. So if we had more fun science, maths related, protecting eggs falling down a plank in a cage of straws, all these kind of things to inspire the not academic, the person that doesn't or won't be going to university. We need skilled craftspeople again. That drive.
I couldn't agree more with you. A few weeks ago, I actually I published my school report on LinkedIn. You know, I'm a big LinkedIn lover. And we got, got really good engagement, to be honest. But my point was exactly your point, which was everyone is different. The world needs all different types of people. It needs academics, of course it does. It needs those people. It also needs people that are really practical. Imagine a world with only academics or only but the problem is at school is that the person that isn't academic is devalued, probably by the age of 11. They're not considered as good as the person who's academic because people are judged on being academic, not being able to make the most or maximize the potential of an individual person. So like I did terribly. I went to Dover Grammar, actually. I got in, but I did terribly when I got there because I just can't. I can't have someone talk at me for an hour, absorb it, and write it back. That's not what I do. But actually, when I went to uni, where I could use a bit more of my creative brain, I did all right because I could kind of tell stories and I could be more creative with how I wrote. But I'm not an academic. I'm not practical either. But I'm more of an ideas person. And what you're saying is, we need to give every kid an opportunity to be the best they can be. Going back to almost your quote, really.
Yes.
Be the best you can be, but you can't if you're in a system that doesn't allow you to be the best you can be.
The emphasis is too much on getting your qualifications, and whilst I support that, not everybody is like that. Now, it's like yourself, Steve. You're a creative person within media. But you're talking about manufacturing. That's one role within manufacturing. We need artists, we need designers, we need software programmers, we need software developers, we need CAD/CAM technicians, we need machinists, we need service engineers, we need salespeople, we need operations engineers, we need project engineers, we need design. The list is endless, and this uninteresting occupation of manufacturing that teachers and some parents will tell their children to avoid can take you globally around the world. I've been very, very fortunate enough to have traveled throughout Europe within my role, and I've met some amazing people and I've had some amazing times. UK manufacturing is respected highly by the rest of the world, but not by our own people.
Yeah.
It's crazy, and we just need to do something about it. Why the bloody hell do you think 80% plus of the F1 teams are situated in here? Why do you think Mercedes turbos, although a German company, they're made here in this country? We make some bloody fantastic stuff, and it gets my goat when government. I mean, we haven't even got a proper industrial strategy, for God's sake. I mean, what's that about?
Yeah.
So, yeah. Oh, I could go on.
I know you could, Lee, but we are running out of time. But do you know what? I totally take your point. I think for me, it's two things. We need to do more. We need to be more vocal about UK manufacturing in general, and like you said, educating young people so that they come through with a different mindset about going into this sector. That it's not a second-rate option because you couldn't be academic. It's a first-rate option. It's just a different option. And anyway, look, do you know what? It's been an absolute joy speaking to you today. I mean that. And I appreciate you coming in at late notice as well.
I did my best.
You did really well, actually. It was really great chatting to you. So this was Leigh Howarth from M-CNC. Many thanks for joining us on the Engine Room.
You're welcome. Take care, everyone.
Cheers, Lee.